courtesy of a really good show, Bussin' with the Boys. They went down there to South Carolina, got Shane Beamer for an interview, so shout out to them. Go check that full interview out if you haven't checked it out. But one thing I love about Shane Beamer, cousin Shane, not to be confused, but one thing I love about him, and people give him crap for all this, but he doesn't play this game that a lot of these coaches do, where they, coach speak, and he really kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves, win or lose. It's, it could be a roller coaster, and he's gotten, I don't want to say in trouble in any of these press conferences, but I know he's, again, let his emotions show, and credit, again, this interview for getting him to kind of go where I think very few SEC coaches would be willing to go on the record. Who does Shane Beamer want to throw down with?
I am saying, if you could fight one SEC coach, who would that coach be?
If I could fight him.
Or power slap.
Power slap.
Maybe power slap.
Yeah.
You could power slap one SEC coach. Who would it be?
Two questions. This is developing.
Yeah.
Who would you want to fight, and who do you think you could beat in a fight? This is hard-hitting journalism. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Tourism.
I hope you're enjoying yourself, because we really are.
No, I'm sure
Okay,
you.
good.
I feel like you are.
Okay, you didn't reciprocate. That's okay. I feel like I'm having a good time.
Yeah. There's a few I could say that certainly at times I've definitely would want to fight as well. We sit in those head coaches meetings, and we're all competitors and we're intense, and it's there's great respect for one another, but there's things that happen outside that room and things like that you're kind of like,
Saban.
Come on, man. I'm not gonna say a name.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
but
fair.
There's a few. And who do I feel like I could take? I don't know. I worked with Sam Pittman at Georgia. I worked with Kirby when I was at Georgia. So, I know both those guys well. I feel like from a quickness standpoint, agility, all that, I could probably take Sam. He may beat me like in a beer drinking contest or something like that, I'm sure. But Sam and I were neighbors at South Carolina. So, and he's a little bit older than me. So I don't know. Neighbors at Georgia. So I don't know. There's a few. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I stay pretty active and I try and work out regularly and things like that.
You look fantastic.
So, I appreciate you saying
You
that.
look well.
So I really feel like I could hold my own and be okay with all 13 other ones in that room. There'd be some battles, but there's a few in particular that would be a priority at the top of the list. Maybe
On your schedule, who's a team that you love to obviously be up late in the fourth quarter and grinning, thinking, "I got you, motherfucker"?
My wife and I literally just had that conversation this morning about a team in the SEC that goes back to who I'd want to fight right now as well.
Yeah.
There's one in particular right now that I'm not really high on. And my wife literally just said, we need this year when we play them, yada, yada, yada. So ask me again. Y'all come back during the season and we'll talk about
I want to know
we'll
now.
talk about.
Will you tell us off camera?
I'll tell you off camera.
All right, we'll tweet it. We'll tweet it.
Just record him like, all right.
Would you say?
Totally off the record.
All right, Jay. So, hey, right there, the South Carolina coach, wouldn't give names for obvious reasons, but one or two on his
Mike,
list.
Let's just guess. I've got it narrowed down to 3, obviously, right? So you got Stoops is probably my favorite right now, especially with the comments made in last offseason.
Yep.
I think Eli and Hype are the other two. Is there a fourth name that maybe you would consider there?
A fourth name. Perhaps old Billy Napier. And I don't think there's any bad blood, but I think that was that game caused South Carolina. Because you got to remember, man, we have such short-term memories, Shane. After they got whooped by Florida, there was major concerns. I think that may have been the game where Spencer Rattler, kind of came out and was basically said, well, he didn't call out the play calling, but he kind of did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was in that vein of games. Things were trending dangerously. People were wondering, what are we doing here? We're losing to Missouri. We're losing to Florida by a wide margin. And then, of course, they turned it right around, beat the hell out of Tennessee, snapped the Clemson streak, and we just forget that happened. So I'm not sitting here saying, we should focus on the negative. We should focus on the positive. But I wonder if losing to Billy Napier in the fashion they did, only score of that game came on a fake punt, if memory serves.
Yeah.
I would think Shane Beamer was pretty fired up And I don't know if that's against Billy Napier or anything, but I bet he probably wanted to fight him that night.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Because obviously the season ended well with South Carolina. You kind of forget. I didn't forget. There's a reason that I never bet on South Carolina for the longest time was because of that game. I thought there is no way that South Carolina is going to beat anybody in the SEC. They kind of hit rock bottom, and so maybe that was a momentum, like kind of a momentum factor for Beamer. You hit rock bottom, and then that one last bully calls you a fat ass or something. You're like, damn, you know what? I'm going to start working out tomorrow. And you put his face up there, and you're like, that's your momentum. Maybe Billy was what lit the fire under his ass and got South Carolina where they're at. So I could see that. I could absolutely see that. I am curious though, Mike. Out of the group, I mean. Yeah. He was pretty confident that he could beat up just about any coach in the SEC. Did you feel that? I would, if I'm putting anybody, let's just put a short list here of coaches that it would be close. And you may disagree with me here, but I would think, of course, Coach Lee is going to be on that list. Athletic, former player. Of course, he's kind of got those crazy eyes. He looks like a good scrapper. Billy Napier, I mean, say what you want. Athletic, built, still, I think, he jokes about running around Sam Pittman and stuff, but Sam gets a hold of you. You know what I'm saying? That old man strength get a hold of you, But that's the ones I'm thinking of is maybe like Billy, Coach Lee, maybe Kirby.
That's the one I was going to go with. Shane Kirby, smart. I think you're underrating. I mean, he's still relatively a very young coach given his success. We've seen him on the sideline. He's got a vertical that's about 35 inches. I mean, that's lower body strength, Shane. I mean, he's probably got some helicopter kicks in him or something. You know what I mean? Former standout defensive back. I'm sure he's lost a step like we all do when we get a little bit older, but he doesn't look like he's lost much of a step. So I'd put Kirby right near the top of that list too.
Yeah, I would say I'd got Kirby in there too. Kirby, and he's a little crazy too. Those defensive backs, they ain't right sometimes, So so I